Hey, yogis. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. This is a practice that is designed to move and engage all of your systems. So we're going to flow fluidly and seamlessly through some pretty demanding and challenging postures, and we're going to punctuate that really challenging portion with some moments of stillness and sweetness. So if you're ready, let's start in child's pose. Take your knees about a mat width distance apart, and we'll start by walking the hands forward. And if you notice right away that doesn't feel great on your shoulders, then you can opt to reach your hands back for your heels. So it takes a little bit less pressure off of the neck. And let your hips sink down. And let your body feel heavy. And bring your awareness to every part of your body that's touching the mat. And creating this greater body awareness. And then landing your awareness on your breath. And with your eyes closed and the jaw soft, release an exhale out through the mouth, and toning the navel in towards your spine. And then feel the breath coating the back of your throat. Perhaps you can even start to tone the musculature in the back of your throat. So you start to feel that resonant form of the breath, and perhaps even notice how it's changed sound. Like this whooshing sound and sensation, or I always like to say, Darth Vader breathing in his helmet. Kind of like that. And just let your exhale pull you back in. Literally pulling the belly in, pulling your awareness back in. If your hands are reaching back towards the heels, then climb them forward. And allow the elbows to float up off of the mat. Feel this big side body stretch. And land the elbows down and bend them so that you come into this reverse prayer. The hands will land right on the nape of your neck, perhaps even between the shoulder blades, and slowly start to walk the elbows forward a bit. So you feel this nice, juicy stretch in the front of the chest, in the armpits, and maybe even give a little tug with the elbows to intensify the sensation. And breathing deeply and fully. And slowly lifting yourself up onto hands and knees. And so as I mentioned before, we're going to flow through some uninterrupted sequences and then interject with a few moments of pause and contemplation. And so as you land here in your tabletop, just start to take stock. Spread the fingers wide, lengthen the spine, and draw your ribs and your belly in to support your back. And from here, sweep the left arm up and overhead, nice open chest. And then you're going to exhale and start to thread the left hand underneath, like you're about to land it down, but you just hover here. So keep moving just like that. Inhale, peel it open. Exhale, squeeze the low ribs in as you hover and twist. I'm going to move, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, slide it through. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, slide it through. Last time, inhale, sweep up. On this next one, as you hug the belly in towards your back, land all the way down onto your left shoulder, onto your left cheek. And then hold this twist here for a breath. And slowly lift yourself back up, landing in your tabletop, and set your foundation. Plant your hands down, hug the belly, the ribs in, feel your feet and your knees on the mat. And then from this place, inhale the right arm up, nice open chest. Exhale, slide it under and hover. And inhale, breathe it open. Exhale, twist, low ribs pull in. Inhale, exhale to twist. Inhale, exhale to twist. On this last one, inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze the low ribs in, thread it all the way underneath and come up onto your fingertips of the left hand as you reach through the bottom arm. Resting the side of the head on the mat. Soften in the face and deepen your breath. And slowly untwist. Returning to tabletop, curl the toes under, load the weight into your finger pads, your knuckle mounds, and let's hover the knees up off the floor. And I always like to go a little bit shorter here because I have a tendency to go long in my stance. And then squeeze your belly in. Squeeze the ribs in. Press them out away from you. Try not to clench your jaw, but focus your awareness back on that smooth and fluid inhale. Good. Squeeze the hands and the feet in towards each other. Hold here as it starts to get even more challenging. And then slowly drop the knees. Keep that tone in the navel. And untuck your toes. Pull your heart through. Lift your sit bones. Exhale, round it up and back into cat. Close the eyes. Inhale, slide your chest through. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, slide through. Exhale, round back. And keep moving at your own pace. Just noticing and feeling. And returning slowly back to your neutral tabletop. Curl your toes underneath you and lift yourself up and back into a downward facing dog. On this first downward dog, I always like to do a little bit of diagnostic movement. And slightly bending the knees, maybe even a little wiggle of the hips. And if you like to check your stance, a slide forward, a plank, and down dog will help you gauge how long or short you want to go. So if you have to really adjust the distance between your hands and your feet between those two, then that'll give you a better indication of where you want to be. It should be pretty seamless. And press down through the knuckle mounds and the finger pads and really press down into the L's of your hands. Feel that gentle hugging inwards of the biceps, pulling in towards the ears, the belly hugging in towards the back, and the tailbone lifting high to the sky as you feel that low back dip in and down. It's a neutral spine. And exhaling out through the mouth. Just feel your hands and your feet. Feel the spine hanging heavy. And start to steady your gaze. Your breath moving through you. Inhale, lift the right leg up and back. Reach energetically through the right foot. Engage the navel in towards the spine. And without bending the knee, simply open the right hip up, stacking right hip over left, and pressing the right foot up into the air like you're trying to kick your foot up into the ceiling. You'll feel the outer right hip start talking. And then bend the knee and start to draw circles with the knee like you were painting a big golden sun mural on the wall with your knee. Maybe a little bend in the bottom knee. And pull the right foot all the way through. Step it through to a lunge. And lowering the back knee down to the mat. Lean forward. Hug the legs in. Pull the chest through. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And that pelvis get heavy as you hug the legs in just ever so slightly. And exhale and plant your hands down. Step yourself back into your dog and reach the left leg up and back for a three-legged dog. And again, set your foundation. Press down. Notice where your support is. And start to open the left hip up so it's opening wide. The right shoulder might dip down. Try to lift it back up in line with the left and squeeze the arms in towards the ears. Good. Lift the left leg up a little bit higher. Keep opening it up. Now bend the knee. Stack it open. Maybe you're drawing circles. Maybe you're bending the bottom knee. Just feeling a little bit more fluidity and movement in the joints. And slight tone of your navel as you scoop that left knee all the way through. Step the left foot forward. Lower the back knee to the mat. Inhale. Extend your chest long. Sternum is lifting as the legs gently hug it. And deep breath into your belly. And then exhale, step yourself back into your downward facing dog. And we're going to flow through Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A, several times. So you're going to start to fall into this rhythm, this cadence of body moving with your breath. And just try to release any expectation, any judgment. And just really falling into sync with what's happening here in the moment. And then walk your feet forward to the top of your mat. Bring the feet hip width distance apart. Soft bend in the knees. Slide the fingertips up to the shins and lengthen the chest. Draw your ribs in towards your back. Exhale and hinge at the hips as you fold. A nice slow flow to begin. Inhale, sweep arms up. Classic move as I exit the frame, tail down. Hands come all the way to heart as you fold forward. And inhale, look forward, lengthen. Exhale to plant the hands and step your feet back. Top of a push-up, plank pose. And engage the muscles of your legs as you stretch back through the heels. And shift your shoulders forward, drop the knees, then the elbows straight back, lower the chest between the thumbs. Untuck your toes and press down to the tops of your feet as you roll your shoulders back and peel your upper body up off the floor. And a deep breath in. Slowly release. Tuck your toes and breathe yourself back into a nice long downward dog. And just notice what's starting to bubble up to the surface as you move here on your mat. And inhale up onto tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees. And yogi's choice, either hop or step to the top of your mat, folding forward. And inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Lengthen your tail, reach through the crown of the head. And inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to shins. Soft bend in the knees if you need. And plant your hands down, step back, plank pose. Nice long spine. Engage your core, press through the head and through the feet. Head shift forward, lower knees, bend the elbows straight back. And this time bring your hands out onto the wooden floor, well, my wooden floor, or whatever kind of floor you have at home. Wrap your shoulder blades back, curl your chest forward, lift up a nice wide cobra. Press down into your pubic bone and your feet as you start to push the heart through. And exhale, release. Downward facing dog. And tapping back into your breath. And inhale, lift up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, round the spine, draw the belly in, look forward. Hop forward and bow. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank pose. A deep breath in at the top of your plank. Shoulders away from the ears. Soften your jaw. Shift your shoulders forward. Bend the elbows straight back. Lower all the way down to your belly. And slide right into cobra. Wrap the shoulder blades back. Hug the belly and lift your chest and stretch. Exhale to release. And curl your toes under and slide back, downward dog. And our yoga practice challenges us physically, but it also challenges us mentally, emotionally. There's a lot of stuff that comes up here. And hop or step forward. And then bow. Breathe the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. And so the question and the invitation is for our practice each time we come to the mat is really one of how can we let this time in our yoga practice, this time on our mat, bend your knees, reach the arms, hands to heart if you need a little break for the shoulders. Chair pose. How can we let this time on our mats really just be one of exploration and of curiosity? And facing fears and challenges with as little judgment as possible. And reach the arms forward if you haven't already, and fold forward. Hinge up the hips as you bow. Uttanasana, forward fold. And slide your hands up, half lift. And exhale. Plant the hands down and reach your left foot back behind you. And Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B here. And stretch the arms up. The back toes at a 40 or 45 degree angle. Maybe the front foot widens a bit out to the side. And the pelvis is relatively open. So cinch the low ribs in and start to turn your chest forward, moving the right shoulder back. And as that left foot presses down into the back of your mat, feeling the energy pulling back and forward at the same time. And one more breath in here. Allow it to cool you down. Exhale to release. Move back, downward facing dog. And inhale, stretch your left leg up and back. And step it all the way through. And spin the back heel down in that 40, 45 degree angle and stretch the arms up. Warrior one. Lift and tone the belly. Turn the chest forward. And press down into your feet. Let your awareness rest there. Feel your legs. Feel the support of the ground underneath you. And slowly release. And step back plank pose. Deep and full breath in here. Exhale, shift forward, bend the elbows a few inches, and maybe you'll slide forward to upward facing dog so the hips stay lifted, the shoulders pull back. Lift the low belly. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale up onto tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees. Hop or step to the top of your mat and fold forward. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lift the arms back up. Tail down, sternum stretches up. And exhale, sink back into Utkatasana, chair pose. And press the knees away from each other so that the outer hips start firing. Load the weight into your heels. Move the ribs back. Extend through the upper body as you reach the hips away from your head. Breathe into this space. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, bow. And step your left foot long back behind you into a lunge. And spin the back foot all the way down. Open yourself up. Warrior two. There we go. Warrior two. Wardrobe malfunction. And as you settle your feet down into the floor, imagine them plugging into your sticky mat. And reaching through the arms. Softening and steadying your gaze. How can we let the stressors of these physical poses allow us to create a sense of resiliency in our body and in our mind? Really meet it where it is. Rise to the occasion here and find your breath. And interlace your hands behind your back. Bend the elbows and wrap the shoulders back. And so as you lengthen the hand down to the floor, lift the chest, draw the navel in, fold forward, humble warrior. Bowing onto the inside of your front foot. Make those legs strong. Draw the belly in and extend up through the arms. Let the head and the neck get a nice release down towards the floor. And breathe here. Use the strength of your legs to lift yourself back up, releasing the arms back into warrior two. And from here, rest your front forearm along the top of your front thigh and reach the left arm alongside of the ear for side angle. Good. Shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the legs in, broaden across the front of the pelvis. And take another breath in. Feel your spine grow longer. Then you'll exhale to touch the floor and just crawl yourself to the other side of the mat. And landing in your warrior two stance, the front heel will line up with the middle of your back arch. And unfurling the arms, keeping this nice lifted heart. The arms reach actively apart from each other so that you feel the shoulder blades moving apart from each other on your back and those triceps are engaged. And from here, interlace your hands behind your back. Maybe the non-dominant thumb comes on top as you roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, tying a little back bend. And with strong legs, fold forward, humble warrior. Breathe deeply. And tap back into that resonant form of your breath. And press down to lift up, warrior two. And tone your navel. Bring your forearm to the front thigh. Sweep the right arm alongside of the ear as you lengthen. Press down into the outer blade of your back foot and reach through that top arm. Good. And then slowly release your hands down and you're going to crawl yourself back to the other side of your mat. Step back, plank pose. Good. Puff the upper back towards the ceiling. Engage those deep core muscles. Lean forward, bend the elbows a couple inches or lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Roll shoulders back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Tuck your toes. Lift yourself up. Downward facing dog. And feel all this information integrate. And notice if your mind's wandering. Don't judge it. Notice what you're feeling and don't judge it. And tap into as smooth of a breath as you can. And just ride the wave. Feeling how the breath breathes on its own. And how we can engage with it even more profoundly to create something new. And inhale the right leg up and back. Step it all the way through. Warrior two. And lift the arms up. Land here. And squeeze the low ribs in. Lift the heart. Broaden across the front of your pelvis. Press the right knee out to the side. And from here, lower down. See if you can lower the right hand all the way to the floor as the left arm extends alongside the left ear. If that's too much. The hand comes back up on top of the front thigh. And press down into your feet and hug the legs in. And as you swim the left hand down to the floor, straighten the right leg in a beautiful, graceful, fluid movement. And then lean back. Maybe the hand rests on the shin or the ankle, wherever you are. Just feel the pose. Feel your feet, your legs. The point of contact between your hand and your shin. And then stretch your left arm back alongside of the ear and engage the belly. Float your right arm up to meet it to frame your head and press down. Hinge yourself up. Warrior two, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to go for it here. Turn the right toes in slightly and pivot onto the left heel. See if you can dip the hips all the way down into Malasana. Squeeze your left heel in. Hug it, squeeze it, lift, pop it. Good, and then maybe you're gonna swim yourself over to the other side. Pivot onto the right heel. Not maybe, do it, please. Good, and then bring your hands to heart and hug that right heel in. Let the hips lower down. Good. Plant the hands down. And then pivot your left toes towards the short edge so that you can come right back, warrior two. And extending, lengthening, fixing your top. Wow, I'm sweating. As promised. Good. And then maybe the left forearm rests on top of the thigh, or you go a little bit deeper here and really engage that back leg. Squeeze the navel in. Hug the ribs towards each other. Turn your chest open, shoulders move back, and the sides of the neck get an inch or two longer. And straighten your left leg. And float the left arm up. Squeeze the belly in. Inhale, lift yourself back up. Rebend the left knee, warrior two. Bring your hands to heart center. And as you straighten the left leg, point your toes towards the long edge of your mat. And exhale, hinge at the hips, soft bend in the knees as you bow forward and tip the pelvis up towards the sky. Give yourself a moment to land here. Make any micro adjustments that you need. Maybe a little longer stance in the legs, a soft bend in the knees. And let the head and the neck go. And take a breath in. Exhale it out through the mouth. And bring your hands to your hips. Squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back as you lift yourself back up to stand. And pivot the heels in, the toes slightly out. This is not goddess pose. And the legs will stay straight as you bend into the left knee. Reach left arm out and bend at the right elbow. And you're just going to move yourself side to side, keeping those ribs sliding back, heart reaching forward. You're just gliding, sliding, doing this ninja-like move from side to side. I always wanted to be a ninja when I was little, or a spy. I was really obsessed with spies and ninjas. Maybe I still do want to be one in a way. Yoga's as close as I got. And bounce yourself right back to the front of your mat. Plant your hands down. Step back, plank pose. Round the shoulders off your back. Engage the belly. Shift forward. Bend the elbows a couple of inches. Hinge yourself forward. I should say, float yourself forward. Upward facing dog. Pull the belly in. Shoulders back. Cobra is totally fine here as well. And then flip the toes under. Move yourself back. Downward facing dog. Feel your breath. Notice. And don't judge it. Can you just pull yourself back enough to simply notice that you're having an experience? All the things that are bubbling up, can you just breathe them in and let them go? And it's all temporary. And step or hop forward to the top of your mat. Take a nice wide stance with your feet a little bit wider than hip width distance, and bend your knees generously so that the thigh or the chest rests on your thighs and the head cascades down towards the floor. Grab opposite elbows. Give a little sway from side to side. And from here, reach your arms all the way up and overhead. Take your tail down, lift your heart. And exhale, release your arms to your sides. Close your eyes. And plug your feet down into the floor. And receive this information from the bottom up. Feel the texture of the mat underneath you. Feel your knees stack over your ankles and your hips. Your pelvis stacking over the knees. You let the ribs smooth down like you're smoothing out creases in your shirt. And let the breath billow into the back of your lungs. And bring your awareness to your shoulders and the shoulder blades. Feel them hanging lightly as if someone had hung a coat on a coat hanger. It's effortless. And the arms floating down to your sides. And the head stacking really naturally over the rest of your spine. Bring that resonant tone back into your breath if you can find it. And as you breathe everything in, hold, feel the pressure build. And exhale to release. I'm going to turn to face the camera. And then from here, you're going to lean into your left foot and press down into your left foot as you draw your right knee up into your chest. And flex your toes, widen the knee out to the side. And take your right hand to the outer knee, left hand to hip. You can always use a wall for stability. And press the knee into your hand so you feel the outer hip start talking. Screaming. Help! Good, and breathe. No, it's like, I'm on fire. At least that's what Gwen is saying. Grab hold of your ankle and bring it into tree pose, either above or below the knee joint. Toes can always touch the floor as well. And bring your hands to heart center. And feel the fingertips pressing into one each other, pressing into one another. And feel the point of contact, the inner right foot against the left thigh. Squeeze them in towards each other and broaden through the right knee. Just riding the wave of your breath. And feel how you respond to this challenge. And no judgment, no criticism or expectation. And if you feel that anticipation or stress building, can you just lean into it? Know that it'll pass. Woo! Okay, it's burning, it's fire. Slide your right ankle over the left knee into a figure 4 chair. And try not to splay the left hip out as it will, and just squeeze it in. Flex the toes on the right foot. Reach your booty back, reach your head forward, and maybe the hands rest on top of the shin, or perhaps they stay at heart. Depending on what you feel you need, a little more stability or an intensity in the outer right hip, the hands can come down. And breathe into that space. And know that each time you come to meet this challenge, to rise to the occasion, you're cultivating this resiliency in your body and in your mind. Building new skills and learning new tools that you'll take with you. And slowly lift yourself back up, uncross the legs, lower both feet down, hands to your side. Just breathe. Notice the difference. And let all of this information integrate and process. And slowly blinking the eyes open, move to the other side. Pull the left knee up into your chest. Flex your toes. Squeeze your navel in. As you press the left knee out, imagine you're really like levering it out to the side, like a hinge of a door pressing out. It was really heavy. And so you feel the outer left hip starting to light up. You can use that hand as a little point of resistance to feel that more acutely. And then you're going to grab the left ankle and draw it in for tree pose. And immediately squeeze them into one another. A little bit longer, feel the pelvis just kind of spin over the top of your femur. And imagine this golden cord being pulled so it's taut in both directions, up through the crown of the head and down towards the floor, out of the tailbone. All of those vertebrae just stacking one on top of the other. And rise to meet this challenge. How can you respond to stress in a way that makes you resilient? Feel it first. Know that it's there. Lean into it. And then choose your response. And cross the left ankle over the right knee. Bend into this figure four. Shift the hips back. Hug the outer right hip in. And the deeper you fold, the more intensive a stretch this will be. And maybe lowering the hands down if that's nice. And imagine the tight muscles and connective tissue that's most likely speaking up in your left outer hip and the low back, like a sponge, that as you breathe and stretch that area, it's like a sponge kind of soaking up all this water, absorbing this hydration, circulation, that is your breath, pumping this fresh blood to the area, or Fred blood. That's terrifying. And then slowly release. Left foot down, arms to your side. And stand up nice and tall, effortlessly stacking the bones. Breathing and feeling. And nice cleanse of the palate. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, slide hands up to shins. And exhale, plant the hands down. And step yourself back into a downward facing dog. And reach your hips up and back. And press forward and down to the hands and feel the length along the side seams of the body. And lower down one at a time onto your forearms. And separate your feet mat width distance apart. Wrap the shoulders onto your back. Press the floor away from you. We're going to hold here for a couple rounds of breath. I know you're tired. This is a challenging shape to hold after all of this asana. But just stick with it. Know that this is building new connections in your brain, that this is not just making you physically stronger, but mentally more adaptable and resilient than before. How's that for a pep talk? Breathe. Hug the elbows in. One more round of breath. Reach your hips back. And don't release quite yet. Just walk the feet back until you're in a forearm plank. And slowly lower knees, thighs, and hips to the mat. Climb the elbows slightly forward. And land in Sphinx pose. Untuck the toes. And pull your heart through. Feel the shoulder blades move back like two spatulas, just gently pressing the heart forward. And gently increase the pressure into the front of the pelvis. Reach your tailbone towards the heels. Float the shoulders or melt the shoulders away from the ears as you reach through the crown of your head. And slowly releasing down onto your forearms. Pivot the elbows out. Lower the forehead to the mat. And take a deep breath into your belly. And holding it at the top, feel the pressure build, maybe a little anxiety or stress. And then exhale, let it go. Gently walk yourself up onto your hands and your knees. Bring the knees in, separate the feet nice and wide as you relax into a child's pose. And let the sensation of your body moving so close to the floor ground you down. Another deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Slowly lift yourself up onto your shins. And you're just going to flip yourself onto your back. And starting with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And rather than take a normal twist, you can add in a nice outer hip stretch as well. So you'll cross your left ankle over your right knee. And tuck the shoulders underneath you. Maybe they look like goalposts. Maybe they stretch out nice and long. And then you're just gently releasing the right knee, the hip, the left foot down to the floor. So they're still in a figure 4 shape. And bringing the right hand up to meet it like a kickstand. So the right elbow stays on the floor, the fingertips just gently propping the left knee up. And take a couple rounds of breath here. And feel the upper back soften and release. And slowly breathe the legs up. And switch sides. Crossing right ankle over left. Maybe the hips shift over if you need a little space. Slowly releasing the right foot and the left knee down to the floor. And you don't need to use the left hand as a kickstand if that wasn't really comfortable for you on the first side. And if you can keep pressing the right knee up towards the ceiling, then just take whatever position feels the most comfortable. I really like that sensation, the warmth of my hands resting on the soft inner thigh. It feels really soothing to me, so I always choose to make that point of contact. Slowly bring the knees back up and uncross the legs, drawing the knees in towards your chest and taking them nice and wide, letting the low back and the sacrum remain grounded on your mat. Give a little rock from side to side. Hands under the knee joints. If you have any sensitivity there, be like a little cushion. Or maybe happy baby. You don't need to go all the way. Just find a place where you can really relax the pelvis and the muscles of your pelvic floor. softening the low back. And notice how that creates a ripple effect all the way up into the upper back, and a space behind your heart and in the shoulders, all the way up to the neck and the back of the head. And slowly extend the legs out in front of you, or knees bent and feet on the floor if you have any sensitivity in the low back. Float the chin gently away from your chest. And take a deep breath in. Hold at the top. And exhale, let it go. And releasing with it any stress, any pent-up emotions that have risen to the surface as you've moved your body and broken through the barriers of fear, shifted your lens from judgment to acceptance or perhaps just curiosity. And feeling the weight of your body and all of the work that you've done settle in here. Allowing an exhale to escape through the mouth if you need. Start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, stretching and moving in any way that feels nice. Drawing the knees into your chest and rolling to your right side. And taking one more moment just to pause. Slowly lifting yourself up. And bringing your hands to meet in front of your heart and gently bow your chin midway down to your chest. And thank you so much for tuning in, for practicing. Namaste.